Good morning, Voltaire. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome back. We are back again. Oh boy. That was a big yawn, huh? Good morning, Oblivion. Good to see you guys. Yes, yes. I'm here. I'm alive. It is a good day. All right. And last but not least, lurk away, lurk away. All right. Let's see. Fire up Neovim. I like it. We're lurking today. I like it, folks. Let's do it. Let's lock in. Gosh dang, big ol' yawns. Falric the Sleeping. Good morning, Falric. Do you exclusively stream shorts? On YouTube, I always stream in a vertical format, but on Twitch, I stream horizontally. And primarily, that just has to do with reach, with just trying to get my channel exposed to more people. And YouTube seems to be a good way to like catch somewhat of an algorithmic enhancement. But yeah, if you do want to watch a horizontal format, you definitely can. You just got to go over to Twitch. All right. Sidebar. Excuse me. Okay, we need to figure out. Okay, we need some spacing between the. Excuse me. Let's see. This web source. We have views. Let's see. Account views. We have some styles here somewhere. Let's see. Header gap 1. Is that where that's coming from? Header. Where is that coming from? Where's that spacing coming from on the account page? Oh, institutions container has a little bit of padding on it. So let's add a little bit of padding on our transactions container. Transactions view. So let's do padding 1 rim. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now let's figure out the sidebar thing. So the logout button obviously needs to be bigger. So let's go sidebar. No, what did I call it? I think I called it nav bar. Yeah, nav sidebar. Let's find that logout button. Let's do display flex direction column. Yeah. I want it to span the whole. Let's see, let's do. I feel like that needs margin. Margin 1 rim. Don't like that. Causes a scroll issue there. About padding. See, that causes an overflow issue. Where's the overflow coming from though? Hey Tochi, going to my daily stand-up in 7 minutes. I need sleep. Oh, dude. Did you stay up too late? Like, did you stay up all the way until your stand-up? That wasn't a good plan. What are you using for storage of transactions? Just SQLite. Yeah, I'm just putting in a SQLite database. Yep, nice. Dude. Nice. Yeah, that. I feel for you, my guy. I feel for you. uh, okay. So what does it look like if I remove padding 0? Still obviously there, I guess, to some extent. So padding 0, then we put padding. This all needs to come. This all needs to come after. Here, we're here. Oh, I don't like that. The links like jump up. Don't like that. Don't like that. Okay, so let's not put it there then. Screw that. That's a bad idea. All right, let's just focus on the toggle button. So width 100%. Why can I not get that bottom section? Logout button. Display flex. I must not be applying the styles to the right place. Yeah, I'm not. Toggle button. I don't want toggle button. I want the logout button. So delete that. There you go. Logout button. Then we're gonna do let's do margin 1 rem. Nope, don't like that. Let's do bottom. Padding 1 rem. Yeah, I like that. And then probably good if there was some sort of effect to hover that. Maybe an icon too would be nice. All right, let's work on the links. So let's make the links full width 2. So we'll do, where are we, nav. So let's do top, padding 1 rem. Actually, let's not do that because I have a particular, or let's do that, but then let's do nav ul display flex direction column. Is everyone still where they're supposed to be? Yep. And then let's do a gap of 2 rem. Why is that not applying? Oh, because it's not a class, it's an actual element. Okay, that's way too much. Way too much. 1 rem. Would you suggest using Google Sheets to store transaction calculations on a basic payment dashboard? You could definitely do that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I mean, what I'm building is probably overkill. The main thing I wanted to build was a way to kind of centralize my financial data in one place, but I kind of wanted ultimate control over it, so that's why I decided to kind of build my own software, and because it sounded like a fun thing to do, an enjoyable way to spend one's time. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with just using a plain old Google Sheet, or an Excel document, whatever your flavor of spreadsheet is. Good morning, Command Bar. Good to see you. Okay. And then let's do nav a. Border 1 pixel. All right, we want those things to go all the way across. So let's do display flex, and let's do width 100%. I don't even know if I need to add display flex, do I? Oh yeah, because they're in line by default, I think. So we'll do display flex. Okay. Let's tighten up the space between them a little bit. So let's do 0.5 rem. Nice. Okay, let's add some padding in there. So let's do padding 1 rem. That's too much. It's fine on the top, too much on the, or fine on the left and right, too much on the top bottom. So let's do 1 rem, and let's drop this to 0.5. better, I think. Now let's add a little bit of padding around the actual top. Stop, top, padding. I think one rim might be too much. No, that looks okay. Now let's change the color of these. Let's do background color. It's going to be var bg element. Okay, and then let's add the border radius. It's good. Let's take this away. Okay. Collapsing still works fine. All right, now what we want to do is we want to style these when they're active. So when this is the current... Oh yeah, actually that makes way more sense. So this will actually not have that, but nav a on hover will. Whoops. Okay, and then if you are the active link, you'll also have it. So view router actually gives you some classes that you can use to style this. So we want router link exact, I think is the class we want to style. So we'll do nav a, and we'll say, okay, you're also this guy. Hear that tune. Awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to add was a little accent. So even when you're hovering one, you still know which one. So let's add a little accent there. Let's do, we'll need this selector. Let's do a little bit of a, what is it, before pseudo elements. Let's do background color. Let's do red. Let's do border 1 pixel solid red. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to position this absolutely. So let's do position absolute. Then let's do position relative. Position relative. And then we're going to do left 0. Yeah, left 0, and then we want the height to be, I guess, half of it, and then position centered. So if we did, let's just say I did a height of 2 pixels, what does that look like? Doesn't change anything. A width of 2 pixels? that's not doing anything. Um, which is interesting to me. Okay, there we go. So I don't want the width that wide. I would be happy to have the height about there. Yeah, but I want a different color. That's basically what I'm looking for, but I don't want the, I want var brand primary, I think is what we called that. Yeah, little subtle purple accent right there. That looks pretty good. I'm not a designer, but let's see. Instead of doing height like this, let's do. I mean, I would like to dynamically calculate this. Hey, what's up, Winterwind? Nice to see you. Everything is well here. We are doing good. We're spending our morning hacking away at our favorite project here. Arnold, what's the best route to become a full stack developer? I think so. Full stack, I'm guessing you're meaning you want to be something in web development. So you want to have experience with building front ends, back ends, working with databases. If it was me and you're brand new to all this stuff, I would honestly, this is what I tell everyone. This isn't anything new that I haven't said on stream before. Is I would honestly start with Free Code Camp. I would start here, freecodecamp.org. The great thing about their curriculum is it's very well structured. They have a ton of really like fast feedback loops, so you kind of get hooked quickly on seeing the effects of what you're learning. They also have a lot of project-based learning, so you actually build actual projects that you can talk about and show people, which is I think the most useful way to learn how to code. And then the other thing they do is, or the other thing that doing Free Code Camp will do is it will help you figure out even if you even like doing full stack web development. So that's where I would probably point you at to start. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. Doesn't mean web development is the only thing you can do as a programmer or as a developer, but I think it's a good place to start. Plus, I love the folks over at Free Code Camp. They're nice. They seem like nice people. I mean, I've only interacted with them through the internet, but they seem like nice folks. All right, I want to get so how would I do that? Element, let's see, calculate element height 50% of parent. Or what if I did height 100%? Does that work? Okay, that doesn't work. I don't want that. Also, it's kind of interesting that where it puts it there. let's see, 1.5 rem would be 24. 1.25 is 20 pixels, I think. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I like it. I think it looks good. So that's the sidebar. We've got our log out here at the bottom. I do think the log out could have a little bit more padding, maybe. Let's see. So let's do 5 and 1, maybe. Yeah, that's better. And maybe we could add an icon down there, maybe. Let's see. Font, awesome. Let's see, log out. I still haven't built anything with the Font Awesome finally released the Web Awesome library, and I still haven't built anything with those. These is just like a free group of web components you can use, and they're like really nice. They have a date picker, a button. Where's their date picker at? Progress bar. Super nice. And the best thing about it is because they're web components, they work with every single framework. You just plug them in. I think like Angular has a little bit of a weird integration with web components, but Vue they work fine with, React they work fine with. I need to sit down and build something with these things. They have a date picker, right? Oh, their date picker's on the Pro plan. That's kind of a bummer. And their data grids on their Pro. Well, those are very complicated components to build, so I think I can totally understand totally understand that one. What's their select look like? It's nice. The biggest thing with using components like this is the accessibility, right? I mean, if you wanted to build your own accessible component like this with the keyboard behavior and all that, it just takes so much work, man. Ooh, that's nice. That's nice. I need to remember these next time we build something. Whatever we build next, we need to... What was I doing? Shit, I got distracted. I was trying to find a logout icon. Logout. Okay, I'm looking for free ones, bro. Give me the free ones. Hey, good morning, Bob. Good to see you. Dude, the time change has been rough, man. I just wish they'd pick a... I really wish they'd just pick one and stick with it. Let's see, arrow. I know I've used one over here before. Let's see. Arrow. Door. I know there's got to be a free version. Come on. No, I don't see one. Oh, there we go. Arrow right. Arrow left. So which one is classically used for... I guess we'll just use this one. Classic regular, classic light. It's a little thick. Let's see what that looks like. Let's do components, icon. This will be right. What was the name of the icon? Right from bracket. Right arrow bracket icon. And then we'll do navbar, log out. You know, I do have a question. I wonder, I'm going to rubber duck with Gemini for a second here. Let's see. Most modern front-end frameworks do not really rely heavily on the built-in form actions API for sending data to the server. Most folks either don't use a form or just prevent default and then handle posting the data themselves. That being said, is there any compelling reasons to leverage a form with a submission button versus just a button that triggers some function on click? Let's see. The form element provides a free layer of functionality that you would otherwise have to reinvent. Accessibility, that's probably the best reason, huh? I don't care about native validation. Nobody wants native validation because they want to style it their own way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what brought that up was I was kind of thinking like, should this log out be a form? You know, should this be a form or should it just be a button? There's a couple other places where I have that same thought. So what was I doing? Oh, I was putting the I was putting the icon in the button. Let's see. Right arrow bracket icon.
Did we just become best friends?
Obviously, that's way too big. Ross Gold, thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate that. That's way too big. So let's go down here and we'll say, let's just start here. See what this looks like. Log out button. That's way too small. Maybe we do 1.5 rem. It's better, I think. And then let's do log out button display flex. Align item center, I think is what I want. Yes, and then let's put a gap in there. Give it 1 rem. Set the color here to var, was it text color, I think? Can't remember. Main.cs. We have text primary. text primary. Or we probably could just set this to inherit, couldn't we? Just color inherit. Nope, never mind. That's not going to work. What was it? Text primary? It's not working. So what do I need to set on here? Do I need to set the fill? Fill. Yeah, we'll just set the fill. So what if I do... Nope, that doesn't work. So change this to fill. Modify this back to not 1 rem. Let's do 0.5 rem. Yeah, I like that. Should we center everything? Let's see what it looks like if everything is centered. Justify content. I could spell. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. Everything collapses, nothing overflows. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything else I really need to add here besides just getting this deployed so that I can actually get it hooked up to my actual bank account. I think I'm going to change this to be white as well because that black's very hard to see. So let's do toggle button, fill, var text primary. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. This is also what is the log out button? BG element, yeah. Cool. Cool. Hello, James. Writing the codes, great title. Yeah, we are writing the codes. Scroll bar? Where is the scroll bar? I don't know why there isn't a scroll bar there. There is on the wider. Oh, it's probably underneath. Now that you say that, it's actually probably sitting underneath that nav bar because the nav bar is absolutely positioned. That's funny you say that, yeah. I think it's there, but I think you're right. Also, hello, Sam. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Left. I think that's on my main. Let's see, public, no, protected. Excuse me. Yeah, it's there, but now that pushes everything. Okay, that's an interesting thought. So I guess, should I have put enough padding on the right edge so we could do, let's see, padding right becomes 2 rim. No, that's not what I want. So I think that's what's happening, is that it's hiding the scroll bar because it's sitting over the top of it. So if I did position, where is it? Position absolute. If I set this back to relative when it's collapsed, yeah, there's the scroll bar. It does cause a little bit of a weird layout shift, but I'm not sure how to avoid that. Not necessarily the layout shift, but the also, what's the reason for the weird added spacing? I thought I took that off. Oh, that's because, so really it should be padding right 0 rim. Huh. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm gonna have to think on that one. I don't like the shift, but I also think Sam's right. We should have a scroll bar. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think on that one. Because basically I need... Hello, Dota. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Max. Good morning, Era. What's the tech stack for this app? So the front end is in Vue with TypeScript. The back end is C#.NET solution, and the database is just a SQLite database. Lurk away, Max. Lurk away. We've got several people who are lurking this morning, so let's all lock in. You know, I like it. Have you done buffering before? Wondering why buffering would be used. I recently dove into caching and buffering. I think didn't we talk about this yesterday, Dota? Or maybe somebody asked a similar question yesterday about caching, or buffering. Sorry. I've never really had a need to do much. I mean, I would imagine the two places where you'd see it most is like you're streaming data or you have like a high volume of user input in small windows of time, which are sort of kind of similar situation, but a little different. Or maybe like you're writing a lot to a database and you want to buffer some of those writes in memory and do them in like batches or something. But I've never really had need to go and implement it myself. I'm sure a lot of the applications or a lot of the libraries that I've used internally have implementations like that, but nothing I've ever done. Hello, reps. Good to see you. Got it. Front end view, backend.net, DB, SQLite. Yep, that's it. You've got it summed up. I didn't get to see your response. Well, that's basically what I said yesterday. The only thing I've used buffering recently was in my Discord bot. The way their WebSocket API is, you receive messages, but you receive messages basically almost like in chunks. So you could basically read like a certain amount over the wire. And in that case, I had a little message buffer where I would read it. I would read over the wire into the buffer, write that to a memory stream, and then repeat. But nah, other than that, I don't have any more familiarity with it. Cache for one user, premature optimization. We love premature optimizations. Let's see. Like if I want to, how about for millions of users? I don't know. For millions of users, I don't even know. I've never had any experience building an application that was used by millions of people. Let's see. Like if I want to become an Android developer, what is the roadmap after I finish my C++ basic? Or I need to learn more, then move to what language? I'm a freshman who are self-learning. So I don't know anything about being an Android developer, honestly. That's not at all in my wheelhouse. I've not done any mobile development. I think the native language for Android, right, is Kotlin. Isn't that what Android devs use? Let's see, Kotlin, Android development. So it seems like that would be the next thing. Let's see, Android development language. I mean, I know there's other tools that will allow you to write. So yeah, native Android development is Kotlin. So maybe you need to go and learn some Kotlin, or try to go build an Android app. You'd probably learn a shit ton just trying to build an Android app if you haven't ever done that before. So that might be your next step. But otherwise, I'm kind of flying blind on giving you advice. Maybe someone in chat has some more concrete experience to send your way. Can I link in here? I have a source for his exact question. I'm pretty sure Twitch allows links. I don't think YouTube does. It seems like YouTube always scrubs people's links, but I think Twitch allows links. Abdul, Cotbro writing CSS. At long last, I now know you are actually a front end dev. I can do a little bit of front end work. I mean, I always feel very confident in my front end abilities if somebody hands me a Figma, I'm like, okay, I got this. But having to come up with a design all on your own is kind of painful. So Kotlin is good, then Java now. The thing in my country, I don't really know what they native or cross-platform, so hard for me to learn. Well, I think you could learn both. But obviously debating what to learn is a really bad use of time. You're better off just picking something and going. I would definitely. It looks like Dota posted a link. Maybe check out that link, reps. Here, I'll pass that over to YouTube. Let's see, at reps. Oops, at reps. This is what Twitch says to check out. Here we go.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Okay, City. I missed somebody's question here. I would recommend having the drawer button not be on the side. Just make it a full button that opens the drawer. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this, man. I kind of jiving with this. I'm gonna leave it there. Good morning, Fly Fisher. Thanks for being a member, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you well. I feel like there should be a way to push, let's see, margin right. There we go. That's what I was looking for, margin. There we go. So we'll do margin 1 rep. What does that look like when we're fully expanded? Okay. So basically, should that be on the aside maybe? Oh no, it's all absolutely positioned, so I don't think it's going to make a difference. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So none of these components aren't aware of each other though. So there's no way for the, let's see, protected layout. So main is here, our nav bar is here. So we need to set on the main element so basically whenever the main elements see, style sibling 1 space on sibling 2. So could I do something like this? What if I did, I don't know if this will work. Protected layout, well, not protected layout. Sidebar. And we did a side collapsed plus main margin to right 1 rem. Nope, that doesn't look like it's going to work. I think I'm going to have to lift the state of the sidebar up to get the styling to work. Or we could honestly, let's see, we could honestly, could we change the order of these? I mean, that's going to really fuck everything up, but Why didn't that? Oh, because it's still absolutely positioned. It doesn't matter. Huh. Okay, there's no way around it.
Did we just become best friends?
Gary or Gary? I'm not sure which one you go by, but thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. So I guess let's lift the... Oh, actually, hold on. We don't need to do that. I'm an idiot. What we can do is we can do this. Come back to main. Not main. Come back to protected layout. Then we can do this. We can say main. And then set the margin right to one rem. There we go. Which also means we don't need the padding on the right either now. Right? Yeah, we can get rid of the padding over here. The main padding right 0 rem. Yeah. I think that's better. Okay. So let's go to main. Padding right 0. Woohoo! Figure that one out. Cool. I'm happy with that. Probably should have some sort of loading state, maybe. Or if it takes over a certain amount of time, have some loading state. Log out. Log in. I like it. I'm happy with it. Now we need to try to get it deployed. So let's do LG feature web. Try to make pretty. Oh, hey, what's up, Pablo? Good to see you, man. Are you struggling? No, we were. Yeah, we were. Well, Sam pointed out a good point at some point. He was like, "Where'd your scroll bar go?" And my scroll bar was hiding behind my collapsed sidebar, so we were trying to figure out a way to fix that. Good morning, man. Good to see you. Are we talking about C plus? Let's see. Is this a web plus mobile site? I think web should look way different than mobile for your transactions. Yeah, I think it will probably. It's going to be used on both a desktop and a mobile. I'd like to have a mobile app, honestly, for it in the future. I just don't know how to build mobile apps yet, so that would be a whole learning experience. All right, let's do a once over just to make sure there's nothing that I'm forgetting. So we have our login, we have our log out. We added views for our transactions. We added ways to connect institutions. We added ways to connect accounts. Yeah, I think that's just about everything we need. So now we need to figure out how to package this into pieces for deployment. So it's interesting. We could deploy this monolithically, honestly. ChatGPT knows, don't worry. Yes. Humans no longer have to learn anything. We can source all of our knowledge from the great and powerful LLMs. Oh shit. Sorry, I forgot to update the message. That's my bad, Dota. Let's see, we are drinking coffee, trying to avoid existential existential crash outs over AI, and also work on building a personal finance app. That's what we're actually doing. Sorry about that. The context of the project, the context of the project is just I want to have a way. So right now I use a tool called You Need a Budget, and before that I use something called. So right now I use YNAB, which is a great product. No, I have no shade to throw at YNAB. And then before that I used Mint.com until they shut it down. And YNAB, so basically the whole purpose of these applications is, right, they allow you to connect to your financial institutions and essentially aggregate the data from those institutions into one place. So you can track kind of your balances of all your accounts and the transactions from all those accounts in one centralized hub. And YNAB does a great job of this. Mint did a great job of this. The only problem with YNAB is it has a lot of bells and whistles. It also works off of a double entry accounting system, which for me is just more complexity than what I need to deal with. What I basically want is I just want a list of transactions, a list of accounts. I want to be able to track the balances of those accounts over time, and I want to be able to categorize my transactions, right? It's like I just want to be very simple, don't need all this complexity. So that's why I'm building this, was because I thought it would be fun to build. It would be interesting how to learn Plaid.com's API, which is the financial data provider we're using, or I'm using, to basically see if I could replace my usage of YNAB with my own solution. So that's kind of the larger context of the thing we're building. But I think now we're at a point where I want to deploy it and connect one of my actual bank accounts to it so I can see how much usage I'm going to end up paying for on the Plaid API compared to what I pay for YNAB, and then go from there. I think that's my next step at this point. It's been a fun project, though. It's been a lot of fun. This lets you manage expenses. I guess categorize expenses. That's the only thing I'm going to really do with it, is just be able to label, like, oh, this was rent, this was food, this was groceries, this was eating out, that type of thing. I was going to recommend some double account. Yeah, I don't need double entry accounting. I mean, if I was running a business, but like for my own household budgets, all I care about is, like, did I spend more than I make? Or did I make more than I spend, right? That's the only question I really want to answer at the end of the day. And then I just want to watch my net worth line go up. That's it's like did I spend less than I make? Where did I spend it? Like what categories? Where did my money go to? And then is the net balance of all my accounts going up and to the right, which is hopefully the case. There's one debit, it's how much you made, the rest are credits. Exactly. That's basically that's basically it. And so I just think it overcomplicates the math for me. Do you think Big Lenny would be Terry Davis if he went into programming? Who is Big Lenny? I don't know who that is. You know about the pay yourself first thing? Yeah, but when I learned about that, it was from a book called Profit First. That was where when I had my personal training business, I read that book. I think it's by shit, what's his name? Profit First. Mike Miklowitz? Miklowitz? I don't know how to say his name. It's a great way to look. It's a great way to look at things. Not always possible to do though, but
Mike Mikhailovich.
Mike Mikhailovich.
Mike Mikhailovich.
Yeah, Mike Mikhailovich. Profit First. Good book. Did I just kill? Oh no, I thought I could go on the music. Let's see. Okay, the way I interpret it is just about putting away money as you get paid. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like your personal finances, yeah, it just means to make sure that as part of your expenses or part of your line items that you don't that basically like what a lot of small business owners do and probably a lot of people do in their personal finances is they save whatever's left over or they profit whatever's left over and instead trying to upfront set aside the profit that you want to achieve or upfront set aside what you want to save and take that right off the top. And it makes a lot of sense because when I actually read another book that was called Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins, and you can feel whatever ways you want to feel about Tony Robbins, but this book is very good, and in it he talks about this idea of like a wealth tax on yourself. And basically the idea is like if tomorrow I know not all of you guys live in the United States, but if tomorrow the federal government came to me and said, "Hey, we're raising your taxes by 20%," right? Like I don't have an option. I have to pay the 20, you know what I mean? Like I have to figure it out. And so his point was like you should do that to yourself. Like just tax yourself. Like you're gonna take 20% of your income and you're gonna invest it or whatever that number is. It's arbitrary, whatever you want to pick, but treat it like a non-negotiable, right? And I think that's the idea that you're kind of talking about is like this comes the savings, the investing, the profit. It's factored in at the very beginning, and we don't just wait to see what's left over. I think is very smart. 2 trillion peanuts? What are we talking about? Peanuts? That's a lot of peanuts. Oh, James, this Visual Studio Code fork I'm working on is a true $2 trillion idea. Oh man, that seems like a risky bet. But fair enough. I wish you all the best with your VS Code fork, James. Let's see. The most valuable thing I did was switch from how can I save money to how can I make money mindset. I love it. I love both together more though. Like, I love the idea of trying to make sure that you're spending less than you make and investing the difference. And then I love the idea of like, well, how do I get more? How do I increase the top? The top line. I like that. I save 100%, then I only take what I need to pay for the stuff I need. The rest remains as savings. I mean, it's like it is all just like, we're all just, I totally understand what you're saying. It's all just funny math, but it's an interesting way to think about it conceptually because it's so different than how most people think about their money. You bet 98% on red and the 2% you spend on McDonald's. Perfect financial plan. Oh yeah, it's perfect. And if you look at all these sandbox transactions, apparently I go to McDonald's a lot and I use Uber a lot and I fly a lot and I shop with shady merchants who don't list their names on their transactions. I also hit up KFC occasionally. And there's something just called fun. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it was pretty epic, It's pretty epic. It's funny. Not that there was an option to do it any other way 11 years ago, however. Let's see. RE LLMs and learning. I learned without LLMs, and I think that benefited me a ton. Bro, I think a bunch of people who learned before LLMs are. I think if you're a software engineer who learned how to code and program and build systems before large language models, and now you have large language models, those people are reaping all the benefits because they have the actual concrete knowledge of actually doing the thing, and now they have this like superhuman power of these LLMs that essentially take all the toil and all the simple tasks off their plate. So that and it's kind of unfair to like early in career folk now. It's just it's a very AI has created a very odd situation in the tech world. Victor, is that Vue on the front end? Yeah, I'm using Vue. Yeah, I'm using Vue. I like Vue. Not that I don't like other things, but I like Vue, and that's what we decided to use for this project. Yep. Hey man, been getting your shorts in my feed. Love the insights you give. Been trying to find a software engineer job, but struggle with imposter syndrome constantly. Any tips to be more confident and how I can show I can add value? So first off, thanks for the kind words about my shorts. I hope they're not clogging up your feed too much. As far as finding a software engineer job and struggling with imposter syndrome, I think the thing to recognize there is that everyone struggles with imposter syndrome, so to speak. And the truth is, here's the truth. The truth is that everyone really is an imposter, and they're all just making it up as they go, anyways. So just embrace that. I mean, it's okay not to know things. It's okay to be learning. Not everyone is gonna know everything about everything all the time. Like that's an unrealistic expectation to put on yourself. So, yeah, don't get too caught up on it. As far as tips to be more confident, it's hard. I think the more you know something, right? The more time you spend getting reps in at something, the more confident you're going to be. So if there's a particular piece of knowledge or a particular skill that you find yourself having anxiety around, I would put more time in it. Like whenever I have to give a presentation for work stuff, one of the ways that I get rid of anxiety around that is I just practice the presentation till I can basically do it in my sleep with my eyes closed. And so that might be a good way to help try to build up some of your confidence, is like hone in on the areas that you really want to be knowledgeable about or that you don't feel confident in, and just spend a lot of time getting reps in those things. As far as how can I show you can add value, that's tough. when you walk into an interview, it's unless you have some prior existing knowledge about the situation you're walking into, it's pretty difficult to be able to like concretely translate your skill set into value. I think it's oftentimes helpful to look at an interview as a two-way street. So maybe go into the interview and ask some questions about what their business is struggling with and try to see if you can't pull out and get some information and some intel from them about what they're needing from this role, right? Or what they're looking to do as a business. And then see if you can't map your existing skill set or experience onto that in the conversation. But I definitely think the imposter syndrome is probably holding you back, probably more than anything. And I would try to work very hard to let go of that. Everyone is an imposter to some extent. I think the junior dev market sucks right now, doesn't it? I only know what I see in the surveys. I don't know either. The last time I looked for a job was in spring of 2025. I interviewed basically I think it was like from February of 2025 to like June of 2025, and then got an offer in June or July. So it's been a little bit. Pablo, oh, but when you have some friction to take from your savings, then it truly feels like you're taking money out of your savings and it feels bad, so you only take away. That's a great point. So much of money is psychological. Yeah, so if you feel like you're draining your savings account, you might be less likely to actually spend the money. I like that. AI rules. Nice. Good for you, James. AI rules. We'd be dead without our CTO's knowledge. You are exactly right. AI does the grunt work. Can't replace CTO's ability to apply and build it. Nice. Claude did. Also, good morning, Josh. Hope you're doing well. Claude did crash my computer a bunch. So now I need to be able to read the code. Does AI still rule, James, even after that experience? That sounds tough. When something breaks, you need someone with deep experience to figure out why. 100%. But the problem, I feel like we're in an
just become
unfortunate.
best friends?
Ado, thanks for the sub. I feel like we're in an unfortunate place where how does an early in career person get deep experience when everyone's just trying to shove large language models down their throats? Imposter syndrome. There's someone less qualified that has a job while imposter syndrome is keeping you from applying for jobs. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I have a really good TikTok that I watch all the time about this. It's kind of one of those motivational TikToks, but it's very good. Unless you don't like motivational stuff, then you might think it's kind of kitschy, but I think it's good. How do I sign into TikTok? Oh, you can just use your phone number? Nice. It's convenient. But yeah, imposter syndrome is a real bitch, man. It's a real bitch. Embrace imposter syndrome, just do the reps, 100%. Lisa, I agree. I don't know exactly what you agree with, but thank you for agreeing. Let's see, technical folks. Partner with the salesperson, push all the outbound onto them, focus what you are good at, in my opinion. I like that. Let's see, imposter syndrome is weakness leaving the body. I never really felt imposter syndrome. I struggle with underselling myself, so my career probably moved slower as a result. I don't do so well with self-promotion either. That's been a huge growing point for me as a professional, is because I largely thought that merit would carry me through my career. And as I've worked in corporations, I realized that merit alone will not do it. You have to be willing to like tell the story of your success to other people. So it's not only about doing good work, but it's about making sure that other people know about the good work you're doing. And that's always been a struggle for me because I was always the person, like, even in sports, I was always the person that was like, let your game speak for itself, you know? Like, you shouldn't have to go around boasting you're a really good football player. People should be able to watch you play and just know you're good. But it doesn't really work in the real world. I guess you just need to get better without a job. I guess, yeah. Well, I still think regardless of how good or not good you think you are, I think interviewing is still a good use of time because one, it gives you actual feedback from the market on your current skill set. It helps you figure out what you know and don't know well, and you get to practice the skill of interviewing, which is a skill in and of itself. So I think regardless of like where you are on your journey of like trying to get a what it doesn't even have to be software. It could be any career switch you're trying to make or career change you're trying to make. The act of interviewing, the act of applying, I think is a worthwhile use of time. There's a different tool other than self promotion, and this is leaving good impressions on the right people. Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. You just have to make sure that those people you just have to make sure that those people see your work, right? Or feel the effects of your work. Especially in like a technical role, it's so easy to become the person behind the scenes, which is not a good spot to be. Gary, thanks for the advice in chat, Stephen. You all are great. Well, I appreciate it. I hope that was helpful, Gary. I hope
Kelsey
that was
says
helpful.
hello.
Good morning. How are you doing, honey? You do need skill though. Steven was right. No room for noobs. Need a strong skill set. You do need a strong skill set for sure. It's just getting to me. It's unfortunate because it seems like the current state of the job market is harder than ever for people to actually develop deep experience and deep skill sets in something. Like they really have to work at it. Be very intentional about it. All right, I don't know what to do next. I think what I need to do next is I need to build some Docker files and I need to containerize this stuff. And I think what I want to end up happening is I think what I want is so I have this admin CLI thing that I built that's supposed to help with managing stuff. So I need to somehow figure out how to package this into the same container as the API. And then I guess the web needs to be its own container on the front end. So I have a create user command, I have a generate key command, I have a remove institution, and then what does the app settings is DB context, file rate keys. Okay. Alrighty, well, I guess we need to just figure out how to do this. So let's do Or you are so skillful, everyone is using what you built, and then your work speaks for itself. Now that would be an OP situation to be in. Yeah. Unfortunately, I've never been that lucky, but that would be a pretty baller situation to be in. Let's see. .NET container support. To enable publishing a .NET app as a container, the following build properties are required. Is publishable set to true? Okay. Enable SDK is set to true when your project type is a console app. Publish switches, build properties. I've never used this functionality before, but I've heard good things about it. Okay, let's see if there's any tutorials on this. How to publish C# project as container. .NET publish. Was it really that easy? Let's see. Let's go over to the terminal. Let's go here, make their Docker .NET Web API. Let's do .NET new Web API. Let's do name test. Okay. Alright, let's do .NET run. Good morning, Delusional Dev. Good to see you. The consensus is type inference is good. Type inference is good. Type inference is very good. Like sometimes I wish C# had more type inference. Weather forecast. Okay, so let's try to publish now as a container. So what was that command? Docker publish OS Linux 64-bit architecture publish container. So where does the container go to? That's the question. Sorry, somebody said they hate types? Is it is it true JavaScript is cursed? Some people believe it is. I don't know. I don't think JavaScript's that bad, but I do like some good static typing. JavaScript bad, TypeScript less bad. From what I hear, everyone uses it or is JS using them. It's so confusing. So JavaScript doesn't use types, or doesn't use static typing, I guess I should say. Java or TypeScript does, but JavaScript doesn't. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Hello, D. Good morning. Docker, huh? Maybe Docker Hub. Yeah, I don't know where it ends up pushing this stuff. That's why I'm gonna try to figure this out. I've never used this integration before. This Docker .NET integration. I've always just built my own Docker file, but somebody told me that the Docker or the container publishing support in .NET is really good. So I want to give it a try. Let's see, images. Here we go. No, it published it to Docker. Right here. Yeah, run. Okay, cool. So that was really low effort. Super low effort. There's my app. Okay, cool. So the question then becomes, also I love the name of this container, Frosty Hamilton. Okay, let's stop that. Let's delete it. How do I control? Let's see, publish the image. Right click. No, I don't want to right click. Using a Docker file. I don't want to use a Docker file. So containerize an app. Create a .NET app. There we go. How do we set the container name? So there are various configuration options available when publishing an app as a container. By default, the container image name is the assembly name of the project. If that name is invalid as a container image name, you can override it by specifying a container repository as shown in the following project file. Okay. Here we go. Publish to a container registry. Container registries are services that store and manage container images. They're used to store and distribute. That's fine. The preceding code publishes the app as a container to a container registry. I should be able to set all this though in the build. There we go. Container registry. That's what I was. So when using a remote registry that requires authentication, you authenticate using the well-known Docker login. For more information, see authenticating to container registries. Okay. So I just need to make sure in my GitHub action that I log into Docker before I do the .NET publish step. Okay, I can do that. So what's the Docker? In .NET 8 Creator, neither of these are required. You can use container registry, Docker.io, expected, and log in directly. All right, let's try this. Let's try it locally really quick. U of M. Hi, sir. Is programming by hand, i.e. manually, a bad thing? I heard many people say so. I guess it's kind of fallen out of style to write code by hand. But I've never been a very stylish son of a bitch, so I I don't really care what the cool kids say. I didn't care what the cool kids said in high school, and I don't really care what the cool kids say now as a 32-year-old adult male. I still think writing code by hand is invaluable. I still don't understand how we think this whole only use AI to code and build stuff is going to work. I am so interested to see what it looks like in 5 or 10 years when you've had multiple generations of people bail on becoming software engineers because they were told software engineering is dead, and the only people that are left doing the job are people that have spent the first 5 or 10 years of their career using Cursor to build everything. I know there's this whole group of folks that say like we've moved to a new paradigm and all the things we used to care about don't matter anymore, and clean code is bullshit and maintainable code is bullshit, and none of it matters because we're coding with AI now. It only matters what AI can understand or think is good. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it, and I don't buy it because I'm a Luddite. I don't buy it because I spent the last 2 to 3 years working with AI, both in my own workflow and to help build features, and I don't see it. I don't see that world. I don't see that current capability. To me, it seems like in order to maximize the usage of AI for any given domain, you need to be a knowledgeable person in that domain to begin with. And I don't know how you to become a knowledgeable developer or software engineer without putting your hands on the keyboard and getting experience building yourself into problems and working your way out of those problems or coding yourself into a corner and then having to code yourself out of that corner. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you're able to never write a line of code, but then review code that was generated by someone or something other than yourself. So people can run around and say manual coding is a liability all they want. The thing they're not telling you is most of those people spent 20 years writing code manually by hand to get where they are. And for some reason now they're telling you you don't need to do that anymore. But we have no evidence or proof that that's possible or actually the case. And it's your life, and those people are not going to be there to save you when somebody actually wants to put your skills to the test and you don't have any. So I would be very, I'm very hesitant to give anybody advice that I haven't myself followed, or advice that I haven't followed and hasn't given, or that advice I haven't followed and advice that has not been part of what's gotten me to where I got to. So that's my current thinking on that. Programming by hand is a good thing, but managers may disagree. Yeah, I mean, we're all somewhat beholden to the world, Alwyn. So I'm not going to tell you, like, if your manager says you have to use agentic tools, like, you're stuck. You got to do what you got to do to earn a living. I would just encourage you not to let your development. I would just encourage you to take ownership of your own development. Right? It's your career. It'll be what you make it. So act accordingly. Being good at programming by hand is good. Being good at programming with LLMs is more productive. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Not necessarily better. Yep, not necessarily better. It's just context. What's the end goal here? By the way, how often do you give it a try? I felt a great improvement lately. So I usually use Copilot maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I use it a lot more at work than I do in my own projects, obviously because you inherently care a little bit more about your own shit. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, the thing is, I feel like it's fine. I don't think I've noticed an inherently significantly different experience. I still find that if there are established patterns, or if I'm doing something that's relatively ubiquitous across the world, like in terms of like lots of people have done the thing that I'm trying to do, it's a relatively good experience. I still find that 9 times out of 10, whenever I'm using it to complete a task, I still at some point have to take the wheel. And it's not terribly fun. Again, it's not terribly fun for me at least. It's not terribly fun of an activity to do. But it does speed you up. I mean, it does take a lot of the boilerplate toil out of things if you don't want to do those things. Give Cursor a try if you can get them to pay for it. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that, but and I'm tapped on all the money. I'm maxed on all the money I'm willing to spend on inference. I spend like $20 a month in AI subscriptions, and I'm maxed. Anyone tried Nan to Tetris book? I have not. I have not. Multiple times per stream. Should I learn to code, or will the robots take over soon? It does happen multiple times per stream, and I feel bad because I know so many people are getting, especially early in career folks, they're under so much pressure. There's so much pressure, there's so much anxiety, and there's so much fear about what comes next. And a lot of the fear and the anxiety is coming from folks who have never built or worked on a software team in their whole entire fucking life. So it's just unfortunate because it's people who are basically running around speaking about a profession that they've never actually worked in or done the work of, but want to then tell people that it's over. And I think that's unfortunate. There's also a great number of engineers currently who have career incentives, like meeting like their company. Like, for example, if you work at Microsoft, Google, Meta, Netflix, if you work at any of these big companies, you have a career incentive to be pro AI and to evangelize AI, regardless of whether or not that's how you truly feel or not. Like, your company's going to reward you for being that way. And so you've got this combination of like shuckster business people and marketers, and then you've also got this group of very ambitious, experienced, late in career developers who are like, AI is the greatest thing in the world. Well, it is if you've been here for 20 years, but it's probably not so good if you're just getting out of college or you've only been out of school for 4 or 5 years, or you're in your first job. New take. You must learn to code in order to fight the inevitable AI uprising. I saw so I saw a TikTok yesterday that was like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And it was the scene from The Matrix where that guy's in like that mechanical suit and he's fighting all the AI robots. I thought that's pretty good. That might be the appropriate answer if you're going into any interviews and they ask you that question. You it might be appropriate to say, "Well, I see myself a part of the resistance." Do not trust the AI output though. Oh no, YOLO, you can trust AI. AI is great, man. Claude Code 4.6 Opus. I mean, you just ship the code. You don't even have to look at it anymore. I started 2 years before real agentic tools started rolling out. I used them for a year after, but now I mostly coded NeoVim to kill my reliance on any AI coding. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, man. I like I said, I use Copilot maybe 3 or 4 times a week to do small tasks or toil like tasks that are mostly work related stuff. But yeah, I still feel like AI makes me less capable, dumber, and more dependent. Um, and a lot of what's interesting is there's a lot of evidence. The studies that have been done show that like developers perceive themselves to be faster, but they're actually not that much faster. Um, and I think there's probably going to be other research that comes out that shows that the more you use LLMs, the less you actually learn. I also think there's going to be science that backs that up. I think there was a little bit of study. There was like a study that came out last year where they looked at people who used LLMs to write an essay versus people who didn't use LLMs to write an essay or something like this. And the people who did use LLMs had a hard time recalling what they had just wrote, which is kind of a scary thing to think about. So, I mean, nobody knows where this is going. That's the thing. It's like nobody knows where we're going to be in 5 years or 10 years. So everyone's guessing, and you just kind of have to place your bets in the way that feels best to you. You know, Pablo, if you are out of college, the situation sucks. See, Elliot Wonderland. The thing about AI productivity boost is that it's sort of an illusion. Maybe short term it does boost it, but LLMs generate so much junk and technical debt that cancels out all the productivity. I think I kind of agree with you, but I do honestly think that LLMs people are using LLMs to get good outputs. But the thing is, regardless of if the outputs are good or bad, there is some like review bottleneck on the human being still. Like humans can only read and understand so much in a period of time, right? So you're still sort of bottlenecked by that in most cases, unless you are just like YOLO shipping the AI generated code. Looks good to me. Should we start learning plumbing or painting to be in demand always? I mean, I guess you could. I mean, the thing is, it's really funny because when I grew up, when I was coming up in the world or growing up in the world, everyone told you not to do blue collar stuff because blue collar stuff was being automated. Jobs were being automated. All these factory jobs are going to get automated. And here we are in 2026, and all those same factory jobs that people told me those jobs won't be around when you're they're still around. And now to experience as an adult, we have a huge like pivot in the other direction. Now everyone's saying don't do white collar work because that's going to be automated. Go do the blue collar work. And it's like, well, wait a minute. I thought all the blue collar work was getting automated too. So it's just, again, this is way more about greed, money, fear, anxiety than it is anything to do about actual reality. I recently got off my ass and riced up my Neovim profile. I've been stock Neovim all this time. Oh man, I bet you're living the dream now. Where to learn to modify Emacs? I don't actually know. There's a streamer I follow, Alwyn. Her name's Bash Bunny. She uses Emacs. I don't know if she has any resources though. Let me look. But you might follow her. I know she's an Emacs user. I don't know very many Emacs users. So let's see, Bash Bunny. I think she uses Emacs. So she might have some videos for you that you could check out. At Alwyn. Yeah. This creator is an Emacs user. Might have some good content. Plus, I like her content. Make a review AI whose job is to review the AI. Yes, exactly. You have the AI review the AI, and then the AI grades the review of the AI that reviewed the AI code, and then that AI that grades the AI review of the AI code, then can be again AI reviewed by another AI. It's just AI all the way down. As a new grad, I've never felt more motivated to do personal projects with zero AI. I am scared I'll not gain adequate technical knowledge and experience, and everyone is pushing AI because of speed. Yeah, and this is this would be my great fear, as well. That that if I was newer to this whole programming and coding thing, that would be my 100% fear, is that my development gets left in the dust because the only thing that matters to the business is speed and execution. And so my skills just sit there and atrophy and rot, and nobody cares because they're still getting the output that they want, whether it be actually good output or not. I still think if you're able to ignore all the grift and anxiety and whatnot, there's a useful tool there. Yeah, I mean, I would never argue that LLMs can't be useful. I just think, yeah, you need to be careful. Yep, what Pablo said. Pablo's a wise man. He always has good sound advice. I'm looking forward to Neovim 0.12. I'm curious how the batteries included stuff will be. What's Neovim 0.12 bringing? Relax API contract. Simplify remote plugins. Oh, is this the one with the package manager in it? Huh. What are the headline features in this? Looks like they're getting close, 87%. Neovim releases. Roadmap, here we go. 0.12. The year of NVim out of the box. Yes, this is what I was going to say. The plugin manager. No more press enter. I wonder what that means. UI connect restart. Lua remote plugin host. I don't know what these items mean significantly, but this one seems cool. Having a built-in plugin manager, that seems awesome. Good morning, Ryan. I see that DST hasn't gotten to you. Hope the coding is going well. Yeah, the coding is going fine. I think we got our project to a place where now we're basically figuring out how we are going to publish it or how we're going to deploy it. And I think I'm going to use containers. I know that, but I'm trying to use the built-in container support in .NET which I've never done before, so I was exploring that a little bit. Alwyn, thanks, Steven. Yeah, I feel for you, Alwyn. I wish I had better advice. I mean, I'm 32. I have probably another 20 years of working. I have a wife and two kids who I'm responsible for, you know, obviously, emotionally, physically, but also economically, right? Like I'm the provider. I'm the person who brings home the bulk of our money. And so I wish I had better advice to you to really give. Um, and the only real advice is I can just share with you is what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to get better at the thing that I'm doing. I'm trying to learn more about web development. I'm trying to build projects. I'm trying to explore problems that I've never explored before. Um, I'm trying to stay aware of what's happening in the industry when it comes to the AI space. Like, I'm trying to stay aware of what are the tools, who are the providers, what are the companies, like not letting the curiosity die, like still remaining curious, but not allowing myself to give up my own skill set. So, and I don't really know if there's a better way to approach it. Just kind of playing both sides of the fence, and then putting your head down and getting to work, and then looking up every 6 months or a year, 6 months to a year, and just kind of getting a lay of the land. I wish there was some crystal ball we could all know what things look like in 5 or 10 years, but we just can't. If someone hires a new grad, they are not expecting any speed. I don't know. I think like in today's world, you don't feel like that's any different now with AI? You think they still are okay with somebody being relatively slow? The problem is more about no one is hiring new grads. Yeah, that's that. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You're basically saying if you are hiring someone new, then you're making the acknowledgement that they're going to be slow. And then that's compounded by the fact that no one really wants to hire a new person. Let's see. Have you heard about California and Colorado mandating OS level ID verification? What the fuck? Okay, I did see a meme, but I didn't know that this was a real thing. I saw a meme where somebody said like Windows wants your ID to sign in, but I didn't realize this was, I thought that was just somebody making a joke about how invasive Windows is. California and Colorado. Dumbest law ever. I didn't realize this was a thing. Let's see. Yes, you want to get them to be productive, write good code, then you make the more productive, faster output. Yeah. So I guess it's unfortunate because it seems like nobody is interested in the first piece of that puzzle, Pablo. No one's interested in write good code anymore, right? And it seems like now people are going as far as saying like it doesn't even matter, which is really shitty to hear. Like I'm even seeing people that like I respected as engineers in the industry now who are on LinkedIn and they've just gone full AI, like full AI. And I just like to the point where they're saying like code doesn't matter basically anymore. And I just don't know how to feel about that. Bob, it's real and it's stupid. Okay, I gotta look this up. 2026 year of the Linux desktop. Yeah, that's what people keep telling me. California, Colorado mandating OS ID. How do I not hear about that? How do you guys hear about all this stuff? See, as of early 2026, Colorado and California are implementing legislation requiring operating systems to perform age verification, at the user level, which has significant implications for desktop and mobile operating systems, including Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. All right, I bet System 76 has some things to say about this. My take is that you have to do that yourself now because you need to be a senior to get hired, and there's only one path to be a senior. Dude, that's so tough, man. That's so tough. I feel for people then. I really do feel for people. And it makes me concerned that we're gonna look up in 5 years and the talent pipeline for engineering is just gonna be hollowed out. Because everybody that's right now thinking about what to go and study is they're being told software engineering's dead, or they're being told that it's really, really hard to get a job. So you're just going to have, I feel like what you're going to end up having is probably what happened, what I imagine probably happened after the internet crash, where you just basically have a bunch of people who just opt out of the industry altogether. And then you just, it's just bare. There's nobody there. There's like a huge gap. Nye is doing this too. What is Nye? System 76 is blocking California and Colorado residents from using their products. Oh, wow. Let's see. The best intentions can produce unintended consequences. Okay, this might be a good blog post for me to review on a video. So what are the bills exactly? Does anybody have a good link to what the bills are? I guess these are the links, right? Okay, so these require operating systems to report age brackets to app stores and websites. A person who creates an account on a computer is supposed to be 18 or older and attest to the age of the user they're creating for themselves or for their child. In practice, this means anyone under 18 isn't supposed to create a computer account on their own. Interesting. So this is basically saying if I bought a computer for either of my sons, I would have to help him create. So this is kind of, they're basically doing what like a lot of video game companies are currently doing. Um, I don't know if any of you guys have any kids, but I have kids and they're both gamers. And let me tell you, the fucking nightmare that we have experienced setting up accounts for our kids on all the different things. And the worst part about it is like if you set up a kid with a kid's account, the account's basically useless. It can't do anything. You can't play any games. You can't. It's a fucking nightmare. It's awful. So this sounds like a very similar experience where I would basically have to somehow prove my kid's age or my age when I create that account on my own computer. Don't like that. So what's the reason? What's the stated reason for these bills? What is it? Is it safety? Is it child trying to protect children? I don't understand. New York, they're also doing the OS ID thing, huh? So basically what they're doing is they're saying, okay, instead of creating an account on Xbox.com, or like say you're going to create an account on some Windows app store, some app from the Windows App Store, you need to the OS, like your Microsoft computer, your Windows computer needs to report your age to the apps that come from the App Store. Huh. Both bills aim to improve child safety online by requiring OS providers to implement age attestation interfaces during device setup. That seems dumb. It seems like you're trying to solve a problem that should already be solved if you're requiring that the services already do the age verification and age attestation. This seems dumb. And I'm speaking as a father. Like I have two kids, so like I am like child safety is great, but this seems unnecessary and kind of dumb. Palantir wants to know who you are and what you do. Yeah. People don't know how to parent. They just want to throw a phone to their kids so they don't have to raise them, let the internet raise them. That's awful. No, you can't do that. You got to be plugged in with what your kid's doing online. Let's see. Yep, they're citing protecting kids, but we all know they want to build a database on everyone. Yeah, child safety. I mean, the fact this is okay. So everyone, hold on to your hats because this is I've had this conversation with coworkers, and what I'm about to say is gonna be is kind of dark. It,
Cheer 100 Oi, how come you're ignoring us over here in Twitch chat?
oh shit, sorry. Thanks for the cheer, and sorry, Twitch. I wasn't meaning to ignore. Let's see. The reason is to make it easier for Jeffy E and his buds to find vulnerable kids. Oh, that's awful. That's awful. Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you guys. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you guys. Apologies. Okay, everyone, hold on to your butts because what I'm getting, what I'm getting ready to say is gonna throw people for a loop. But it's my God honest belief, and the statistics prove this out. If you're a father or a mother and you have children like I do, I have a 10-year-old, I have a soon to be 10-year-old, and a 8-year-old. The greatest threat to those children is not people online, it's the people in their life. It's their teachers, it's their grandparents, it's their aunts, it's their uncles, it's your friend. Those people are the people who do shitty things to other people's kids. Because they're the ones that have the access. They're the ones who are able to get kids to trust them. Those are the statistics prove this out. So the fact that we're running around saying we need to protect kids by putting ID verification in computers, that's that's not how bad things happen to kids. It does happen, but it is a small proportion of how bad things end up happening to children. And it's a distraction from the real issue of protecting children, which has much more to do with things in the real world than it does things in the digital world. So that's my take on that as a father. Like I'm much I'm much more conscientious about who has physical access to my kids than the digital threats. It doesn't mean that parents don't need to be up on what their kids are doing digitally, but I don't think we need to implement age verifications on computers in the name of child safety. That seems like it kind of seems like what Ryan said, which is like you have some other agenda, but you're cloaking it in child safety so that nobody can criticize you. That's my thought. The database exists, in my opinion. Drone strike apparatus is warming up. Planeteer would like to know your location. Oh, dude, that's dark. So that's some dark and that's some dark shit right there. But with hard drive telemetry, they'll be able to tie your data to you. While I agree, it may make it easier to catch small time. It exposes us to the most intrusive dragnet surveillance in history. I can't believe that people would actually buy a computer and then have to like. I mean, I can understand checking a box, I guess, but if you actually had to provide an ID to make an account on a computer, that seems like craziness. I doubt Jeffrey used the internet to contact the kids. He used it to call his friends. I mean, again, this is some dark and twisted shit, but it's. I mean, I had this argument at dinner one night with a bunch of coworkers, and they were talking about like kids playing Fortnite and kids playing Roblox and kids, and I just got frustrated because I got frustrated because I'm sitting there listening to this and I'm thinking, listen, that's not the majority of bad shit that happens to kids does not come from people that are 700 miles away from them. Like it comes from their teachers. It comes from their horrible to say. It comes from their own parents. It comes from their like. That's the unfortunate state of the world. We should switch back to a more I can't say that word, anonymized internet. The anonymity is protective of all ages, but the internet becomes less profitable And the less data the data they collect, we are the product. Yeah. I feel caught in the middle of this. Like I understand the anonymity part, but I also kind of want to know that I'm interacting with like real human beings. So maybe there's like a way to like where you start with anonymity, but then services, like if you wanted to be part of a social network with verified identities, like someone could offer a social network, right, that has verified identity as part of its feature set. Like I think I would almost be willing to pay for a Twitter where if I knew the other accounts on the site were also actual people and not just bots. Like I think that would actually be a value add type of experience. But I understand what you're saying, King Brownie. I see what you're saying. Ranking of threats to your children. Number 3, online predators. Number 2, in real life predators. Number 1, tech billionaires. I would probably actually put tech billionaires number 3 on that list. But yeah, I mean this is 100% the truth. Now Google why Discord rolled back their ID verification. What? Hold on. Why did Discord roll back ID verification? Due to significant user backlash, intense privacy concerns, and a history of data breaches involving third-party vendors. Okay. Well, you would think that all of these companies would face the same backlash then, right? Let's see, knowing the Twitter people are real will make you lose faith in humanity. Better to tell yourself the crazies are bots. So what you're saying is like it's much better to live in my delusion, huh? Discord didn't roll it back. They just postponed it. Oh, so it was originally planned for this month and they delayed it. Interesting. It doesn't say the partner they were using was tied to Palantir. Oh, was it really? Okay, that's weird. If that's true. Is that true? I mean, I trust you, Pablo. I mean, Discord. How do you spell that? Palantir partnership. Let's see. Discord has severed ties with Persona, an identity verification service following intense user backlash regarding Persona's connection to Palantir's co-founder Peter Thiel. The partnership, which involved using Persona for a pilot program in age verification, was dissolved after it was revealed that Persona was backed by Founders Fund. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, I feel like this is the good thing about the internet is that the internet should be open and we should start with anonymity as a base layer, right? And then if people want to build on top of that, like if people want to add, like if a service wants to have identity verification as part of its service, that's fine. Like people can opt in or out of being a part of that service. But yeah, I think trying to force people to like register their identity as part of like setting up an account on their computer seems kind of odd. And then declaring it in the name of child safety seems a reach at best, I guess, in my opinion. Discord ID verification will be back in 6 months. Well, the problem with Discord is, unfortunately, is they were in the news pretty recently, right? Because of all of there was a particular Discord server where some really nasty, terrible stuff was happening with like teenage kids, right? I forget the name of it was like some sort of culty situation that had developed on a Discord server with a bunch of underage kids. I forget the name of it. How the heck do you even enforce that in operating systems other than Android, iOS, Mac, or Windows? Yeah, it would have to be one of those four, right? the big players. I mean, I think the problem is the yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like from a compliance or enforcement perspective. You were telling me Hannah Montana Linux will require ID verification. I think it sounds awful. Yeah, I think it sounds awful, and I think it sounds kind of iffy in terms of how well you could enforce it. But I guess if they really want our data, they'll do what they need to do to get it. I don't know. That's crazy. Yeah, 764 was the 764 was the name of the culty Discord group that ended up getting into the news. So I'm guessing that's where a lot of this ID verification probably started. Or at least for Discord. I'm not saying for the operating system. Man, we've taken a wild track this morning. You would just wait until you hear about the Furry Cubs servers. Discord staff were involved. Oh my goodness. We've gone down a weird rabbit hole. You can thank Riot Games for that. You do it with a rootkit. Interesting. Kids also aren't as gullible as the government thinks. When I was a teen, an adult guy we played games with started making moves on some of the girls in the server, and we instantly banned him. Well, that's good. It's good that you guys were aware. I mean, the thing is, kids are very capable and confident, but they're also vulnerable, right? There can be both things can be true, right? Yeah, but I don't want to blame the parents because bad things happen to kids of good parents. That is true. But I do think I personally err on the side of putting more responsibility on the parents to be mindful and aware and engaged in what their kids are doing than I err on the side of putting that responsibility on services. I mean, we're going through this right now a little bit with my son because the conversation around a phone has come up. Many of his friends already have phones. And, we've just taken a very different stance than a lot of the other parents. But I just think you start with responsibility placed more on the individual than you do starting to try to baby proof everything or nanny state everything. I think personally that's the way I lean. Watch, Linux will no longer identify as an operating system, use a kernel and a collection of core utils. Operating system? What's that? No, we don't make that over here. What app are you creating? Well, Lyric Wave, we were working on this personal finance app, but we've kind of gotten distracted in the last hour on talking about identity verifications and stuff. But I'm basically making an application to allow me to see all my bank information in one place. So right now we have a way to see our accounts, and we have a way to see our connected accounts and our connected institutions, and we have a way to see the transactions for those accounts and those institutions. And that's going to basically kind of wrap up this initial development. I'm going to deploy this out onto a server and connect one of my actual bank accounts, and then let it run for probably, I don't know, probably a month. So I'm basically going to connect my bank account with the most transactions, let it run for about a month, and see what my usage ends up being on plaid.com to see how much money this whole thing would end up costing me on average, and then proceed from there. Yes, please share. Yeah, any links to articles or videos on this stuff, please share them. Yeah, I'd be happy to take a look. So I did not know any of this was happening, so thank you guys for sharing it with me. I had no idea that this was something that could be on the radar. Let's see, bad things happen to good parents' children, of course, but the vast majority of parents treat their kids like pets and their pets like children. Yeah. To be fair, that's the reason why Linux has no default distribution. It's just a kernel. Everything else is just built on top of different communities. Not gonna self-host it. No, yes, I will self-host it. So that's actually that's what we were trying to work through. Actually, the last little bit on stream this morning is basically I'm gonna deploy it. I think as two containers. So I think the deployment will end up looking like this. We'll end up having, I guess, two containers. This is what I think is going to end up, the architecture is going to end up looking like. So we'll have Nginx here in front acting as our proxy. Then we'll have our backend, and then we'll have our front end. And those will each run in their own container. And then this will all just run on my own VPS. Or I guess this box actually needs to be Docker. So that's Docker. And then you know things are getting serious when we start drawing boxes on the screen. And then we have the actual VPS. Or just server in general. We don't have to say VPS, but it'll be a server of some kind. And then this will route traffic to the back end, to the front end. And I think I'll serve this all from a single domain. I think this will all be from physicalOS.freeborn.cloud, I think is where this will get served from. And then Nginx will just proxy. Nginx will proxy anything that's behind, anything that's underneath API will get proxied to the backend. And then our SQLite database will be mounted from the server. So we'll have some sort of data directory on the actual physical server. And that will be that'll be our little SQLite file. SQLite DB. Actually, we need SQLite DB, and we also need keyring. So those will be actually on disk and will be mounted in as volumes. We'll probably just have one, like a data directory that has this in there. The one piece of this puzzle, though, that I don't have figured out is how I'm going to do the what am I trying to say? The admin CLI. Let's see, I just sent that video. The channel has some very good videos, so you'll enjoy his content. Okay, cool. Where'd you send that? Discord? Thank you very much, Pablo. It's very kind of you. Let's see, do you got some turrets to defend against your barbarians and pig riders? What are you talking about, James? It's so random. And then Plaid running elsewhere. Do you cache? So I haven't cached the Plaid data. That's something that Ryan's brought up previously, and he is 100% right. I probably should consider caching at least some of it for some amount of time because it doesn't, especially after you connect the institution, some of it doesn't really change that much. But right now, I don't have any caching in there anywhere. And then yeah, Plaid will run somewhere else. So Plaid will be, I guess Plaid's kind of like a sidecar over here. What did I just do? This is plaid.com. Which I guess we can put that over here. So this will be roughly how it looks. I just need to figure out the front end container. The front end container, I already have a Docker file for that. I already know how to build a Docker file for that. The back end, though, I don't want to build the Docker file by hand. I just want to use .NET Publish. But I need to figure out how to do that. I've never done that before. And then we need to set up GitHub Actions to do this all automatically. But this will be what we end up doing for the self-hosting piece. Might spend a little bit of time on that today at some point. Or we might do it tomorrow on stream. But then we'll need to figure out, once we get that deployed, we'll need to figure something to pivot to work on stream. Because there won't be much to do with it until I figure out how much money I would need to spend every month to use it. Sweetbar, what up? What are we doing? Well, we were working on building the finance app that I've been working on, and then we got sidetracked talking about child safety online and how that relates to the operating system identity verification that I guess is being proposed in a couple different states as law here in the United States. And so that derailed us. And then what we were doing right there is we were talking about kind of the architecture once the system's fully deployed out on the internet, how we're gonna deploy it. But yeah, it's been a pretty good morning. It started off as a really quiet stream. Everyone was kind of lurking and just kind of locked in doing their own thing. And then the conversation kind of exploded. So it's been good. Unfortunately, now I have to go to work. Just a suggestion, start learning Lisp after you deploy the app. Okay. This Lisp thing. I'm conflicted. Because I understand the value in learning new languages. But when I look at Lisp, I just feel sad inside. Oh God, I dropped it orange again. I'm just kidding, Ryan. But really. I think I'd like to spend some time building something with Rust. Because I had so much fun doing the Notepad app. I just don't know what I just don't know what to build next with it. That's a great joke, Pablo. That's a great joke. You'll quickly love it, I promise. I guess I won't know unless I try it. Rust is based. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed how I could build something that was so fast and so speedy, right? Remember? Okay, how about this? This is also another crazy thing that I got exposed to recently that's Rust related. There's space-time, what is it? Space-time start. Look how fast that server started. Like, hold on. Let me see if you guys watch this again. Space time. Start. That's insane. And I'm almost 100% certain that this CLI or this server is written in Rust. Yeah, it is. It's right here, Tokyo. So you can see it, and it's crates. It's I mean, it is so fucking fast. So I'd really like to get better at that language. Like, if that's the kind of speed you can get out of it, and it compiles natively and stuff, like, I would like to be better at that language. I would like to conquer this language once and for all. It probably takes 10 years to compile that binary. Okay, the compile times are slow, I'll give you that. But that gives me plenty of time to make coffee, you see? If you like Rust, you'll like Magic the Gathering. I never played Magic the Gathering. I had some Magic cards growing up, but never played it. Rust is decent, but it's going to kill a lot of Linux boxes in the next few years because their hardware isn't supported. Really? I didn't know that. So Rust has compatibility issue. I want to learn Zig for similar reasons. So Zig is also on my list, King Brownie. I'm hesitant to learn another language before I explore Rust. I spent about a month learning Rust, but I feel like before I move on to something else, I should spend some more time with Rust as a language. If you ask an LLM to compile it to assembly, it probably takes less time. Russ mentioned, dude, Bob, I'm so happy that you guys peer pressured me into learning Rust. I just want to get better at it. Now that's the key thing, and the only way I'm going to get better at it is I need to figure out shit to build with it. NixOS. So NixOS is the snowflake thing, right? Bob, happy? Really? I am. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I want to be better at it. So isn't Nix the thing that you have snowflakes that describe the dependencies of your system? NixOS is a Linux distribution built around the Nix package manager. Nix is configured using a functional language that describes the system configuration. Am I making this up? Nix Snowflake? Yeah, I'm not making this up. I have no idea what NixOS is really. Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I feel like I've heard people talk about this and they reference having snowflakes or using Snowflake. But maybe this is a separate thing. Snowflake OS is a NixOS based Linux distribution focused on beginner-friendly ease of use. Let's ask Gemini. How are snowflakes related to NixOS? In the world of NixOS, snowflakes is a term used to describe systems that have drifted away from the core philosophy of the operating system. Reproduce. Let's see. Your entire setup is defined in a single configuration file. A snowflake is a machine that has become unique and impossible to perfectly replicate. Oh, interesting. NixOS solves this through configuration.nix. This is the DNA of your system. If it isn't in this file, it doesn't exist on the system. Oh, I can kind of get with that. I can kind of get with that. That's the type of configuration I want. One file. Thank you very much. I can get behind that. Because the system is built from a static definition, you can always go back to a previous generation if a change breaks something. That's cool. Okay. I'm gonna add this to my list. I love that idea. Let's see. OneDrive, desktop, things to take a look at. Try Nix OS. Flakes are a thing. Oh, it is a thing? What about flakes? Nix flakes are the modern solution designed to kill the snowflake problem for good. Think of a flake as a standardized way to package Nix projects, including your entire OS configuration with pinned dependencies. Before Flakes, Nix relied on channels. Channels were global stateful pointers to the Nix packages repository. This created a problem. If you and I both use the same configuration.nix, but our channels were updated at different times, we might end up with different versions of software. Our systems would technically be snowflakes relative to each other. How Flakes solve this? Flakes introduce a flake.lock file similar to package.lock.json in Node.js or Cargo lock. Hermetic builds. A flake cannot access anything outside of its own directory or specified inputs. This guarantees that if it builds on my machine, it will build exactly the same on yours. Well, that's lovely. That's a lovely guarantee. So is a flake something that goes into a software project, or is that something you use in your actual OS? The declarative description of your project, it defined inputs and outputs. Okay, so a flake goes in like a project. Huh. I've seen people using Nix OS like Docker Proxmox. Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested. I like this idea though of like being able to define everything from an operating system in one single file. I kind of fuck with that. All right, it's 7:30. I have to do the responsible thing and go get ready for work. Nix calls them flakes. See, you guys were on this before I knew what was going on. Need to add LLM capabilities to Zoe to be on par with Notepad. Yeah, I also yes, but I'm probably not going to do that. We can treat Zoe as the Notepad alternative, the LLM free Notepad alternative. That'll be my selling point for it. That's how I'll differentiate it in the marketplace. Want a Notepad app without Copilot in it? The issue I see with Flakes is how do they manage duplicate packages for projects that share dependencies in hard drive space? I honestly have no idea. They don't. They care about reproduction over optimizations, to my understanding. Interesting. Nope. Notepad without Copilot and identity verification. Yeah. Which is fair. I want solid deployment. Yeah. The reproduction is super nice. That's a super nice guarantee. I mean, the dream, right? The dream scenario for any, in my opinion, the dream scenario for anything that's operating system level configuration is you could literally reset your machine. I could reset my machine right now, and in like a few minutes, I could have the whole thing stood right back up, right? And it seems like if you have one central place to define all the configuration for a system, and then you can just point everything at that file, that seems like the simplest solution to that problem, which sounds nice. People, you could definitely sell me an operating system built around that. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. Anything else before we head off for the day?
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate that. Super, super kind of you. Azul Verdo. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Well, if you're new here and you want to come back and hang out again in the future, the best place to find us is live on Twitch and YouTube each morning from about 4:15 in the morning until about 7 o'clock. And then if you want to come back or if you want to hang out or interact outside of the stream, the best place to find us is in Discord. I'll drop the link in the chat there as well. See you, Pablo. Have a good day, man. All right. Bye, Ryan. Bye, Bob. Bye, King Brownie. See you guys. Have a great day. Bye, Sweet Car. Bye, James. I think I got everybody. Bye, guys. Have a good day. Bye. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me.